Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you today? How's life?
Is it good?
Are you nervous? No?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see. So I hope we are all doing fine here. So allow me to introduce myself to you. I am Nanda. I'll be the moderator today. And here is also my team that will help us during the presentation. So, yeah, first of all, let's say thanks to our God who has given us healthy and mercy so that we can attend and participate in this special agenda without any obstacles. I would like to welcome Mr. Restu, Pak Imam Mubarak, and also Miss Puri Vera as our judges today. And also, I'd like to say congratulations for all finalists of National Writing Competition 2021. Actually, in this year, KNMAS 2021 is coming with the newest competitions, that is National Writing Competition by the theme Expanding the Horizon, Understanding Kediri City's History, Legacy, and its Cultural Heritage, which can be participated by all the people in Indonesia, especially for high school students, university students, and for the general public. So yeah, in this occasion, we have several agendas. Let's begin our agenda today by praying first so that the event that we will hold on this day will run well without any obstacle at all. So let's pray based on individual beliefs. Begins. All right, thank you very much. The second agenda is welcome speech from our PIC, the PIC of National Writing Competition 2021. Ms. Desinta, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Nanda. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Sinta as the person in charge of National Writing Competition. National Writing Competition is one of new competitions in KNMAS 2021. We hope by offering the national competition in public, we can give more opportunity not only for students, but also the Indonesian society to compete and show their writing skills, especially in English. We choose expanding the horizon, understanding Kediri city's history, legacy, and its cultural heritage as our theme. In total, there were 38 registered participants in this competition. Then we selected 20 participants into semifinal round. And here we are with the 10 finalists of National Writing Competition. I'd like to say congratulations everyone. And now, in the final round, the finalists are going to present their work in front of the judges. Do your best, be cooperative and supportive, yeah, everyone. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Good luck. Thank you, Ms. Nanda.
All right, thank you, Ms. Desinta. And the next is welcome speech from Mr. Narto as the head of committee.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Saya selaku Ketua Pelaksana mewakili teman-teman panitia ingin mengucapkan selamat kepada seluruh finalis KNMAS 2021. Tahun ini KNMAS digelar dengan konsep yang berbeda karena adanya kebijakan PPKM yang masih diperpanjang sampai saat ini, sehingga seluruh audisi sampai dengan final kita selenggarakan secara online dan terdapat 6 lomba. Yang pertama yaitu Individual Competition, Spelling Bee, National Writing Competition, National English Olympiad, Fun Reading Competition, dan TikTok Video Challenge. Dan di KNMAS tahun ini kita mengangkat tema Expanding Boundary, Embracing Difficulty, yang kita maksudkan untuk memperluas batas atau kemampuan peserta dengan memperbanyak jenis lomba sehingga peserta lebih kreatif dalam kompetisi dan juga dalam belajar bahasa Inggris. Demikian yang dapat saya sampaikan. Terima kasih kepada seluruh pihak yang telah terlibat, terutama bagi tutor English Masif yang telah berjuang demi kelancaran acara ini. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, and then the next is welcome speech from Bapak Siswanto as the head of Dinas Pendidikan Kota Kediri.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Siswanto, Kepala Dinas Pendidikan Kota Kediri. Meskipun sekarang dalam situasi pandemi COVID-19, pelaksanaan kompetisi Koinmas tahun 2021 tetap dilaksanakan. Bahkan sekarang berbeda dengan tahun sebelumnya. Kalau tahun sebelumnya hanya diikuti dari peserta Kota Kediri, kalau sekarang ada nasional. Seluruh Indonesia bisa mengikuti kompetensi ini. Untuk kesempatan ini saya ucapkan selamat dan sukses bagi yang lolos untuk final dan harus bersabar bagi mereka yang belum ikut final. English Masif mendunia dengan bahasa Inggris. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, the next is welcome speech from Bapak Cevi Ningsiyudi as the Director of English Massive.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Koinmas 2021. Saya Cevi Ningsiyudi, Direktur English Masif. Alhamdulillah, Koinmas 2021 sudah sampai pada babak final dengan persaingan yang sangat ketat dan juga dengan dewan juri atau para juri yang sangat berkompeten pada tahun ini. Untuk tahun ini Koinmas 2021 tidak hanya diikuti oleh partisipan English Masif Kota Kediri, tetapi juga kita membuka diri untuk pendaftar atau partisipan atau peserta dari luar Kota Kediri agar teman-teman di Kota Kediri bisa bersaing lebih ketat lagi dan tetap lebih semangat lagi untuk belajar bahasa Inggris. Saya sangat mengapresiasi seluruh peserta Koinmas 2021. Dalam event ini saya harap English Masif bisa memperkuat dalam menumbuh kembangkan minat belajar bahasa Inggris kepada seluruh peserta maupun seluruh warga sebagai bahasa global. Koinmas 2021, Expanding Boundary, Embracing Difficulty. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, and the next is welcome speech from Bapak Abdullah Abu Bakar as the Mayor of Kediri City.
Hi Golden Generation, welcome to the final stage of Koin Emas 2021. Di situasi pandemi seperti sekarang, kalian harus tetap belajar dan bersaing untuk meraih prestasi. Sesulit apapun, jika kita memiliki kemauan yang tinggi dan fokus dengan sungguh-sungguh untuk belajar, tidak hanya menjadi pemenang, kamu bisa melampaui lebih dari yang kamu bayangkan di masa depan. Kompetisi bahasa Inggris terbesar dari Kota Kediri sekarang menjadi event berskala nasional. Bring out your best performance and be the golden winner. Koin Emas 2021, Expanding Boundary, Embracing Difficulty.
Alright, and then let's move on to the next agenda. that is explaining the rules in the final round of national writing competition. There are several rules that the finalists should consider during the final round. The first is participants will perform based on the number that has been given. If there is no response in 3 times calling, so the performance will be postponed to the last order and get 20% reduction from the total score. And the order of performance are, the first is Mary Dewandita, the second performance is from Nabila Humairo Hernani, number 3 is Yarita Nurliana, number 4 Elo Halimah Sa'diah, number 5 is Irma Yunita, number 6 Miftakur Rohmah, number 7 Nikade Prima Gayatri, number 8 Soraya Latifah, and number 9 Anastasia Diandra Putri, the last is Regilia Nuraihana Zulfa, ya. Okay, and the second rules is the duration of every performance is 10 minutes. It consists of presentation and Q&A session. The next is about the scoring criteria. We have several scoring criteria. The first is relevance to the theme. It is 15%, and presentation and Q&A session 30%, writing structure 15%, use of English 20%, content it is 20%. And then if there is any additional feedback, suggestion, or comment from the judges, it will be delivered in the last session after all the finalists performs. Jadi untuk general feedback untuk finalis dapat disampaikan di akhir sesi setelah seluruh finalis perform. Mungkin untuk feedback secara khusus dapat disampaikan dalam bentuk tulisan, dapat ditulis pada file teks masing-masing finalis seperti itu. Untuk tambahan secara generalnya, feedback atau hal lain yang perlu disampaikan kepada finalis bisa disampaikan setelah seluruh finalis perform. Jadi in the last station seperti itu. Alright, now we come to the main agenda, that is presentation and Q&A session for the finalists. Are you ready for that? Ready? All right,
Yes.
if you are ready, I'll call you one by one. Number 1 is Mary. Mary, are you ready?
Ready, Miss?
Okay, Mary, you can start now.
Okay, to the honorable judges and also English Massive team, thank you so much for the chance given to me to give my presentation. So before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Mary, and I'm a student from Universitas Nasional Karangturi Semarang. In this presentation, I'd like to talk about my essay, A Glimpse of the City of Kediri and its world-recognized history. Overall, my essay discusses one of the world-recognized cultural heritage of Kediri, named Panji Story or Cerita Panji. But I think it doesn't seem to be enough if we discuss about heritage of the city without talking the history behind the Kediri itself. As said by Sukarno, never ever forget history. So firstly, I'd like to talk a little about the history of Kediri. Okay, historically, Kediri used to be a great kingdom that was rich in cultural heritage and relics that the local people have been trying to preserve until today. So the kingdom of Kediri, or called Panjalu, was a kingdom between the years 1042 until 1222. This kingdom was centered in Gahanapura or Gaha, which is now part of the city of Kediri. And at that time, it was led by Airlangga. The kingdom of Kediri was split into 2 parts because the two of Erlangga's sons were fighting for the throne. However, the kingdom were reunited during the reign of King Jayabaya. Jayabaya is one of the famous kings of Kediri. During his reign, the power of kingdom also penetrated various areas, including the island of Java and also Sumatra. During the era, Kediri was ruled by 8 different kings. The kingdom of Kediri ended during the reign of King Kertajaya in 1222. So a brief history of Kediri can also be read on the official website of the Kediri city government at www.kedirikota.co.id. So you have to check it out. Okay, next, some of the legacy of Kediri Kingdom can still be seen today. For example, several temples located in throughout East Java, as well as some inscription and some literary works. But as I mentioned earlier, in this essay, I'm interested in discussing one of the literary works of Kingdom of Kediri named Panji Story or Cerita Panji. You have to know that this story, Cerita Panji, has been acknowledged as Memory of the World by UNESCO at 31st October 2017. The Panji story is a story about Prince Panji, a Japanese hero who searched for his beloved Princess Chandra Kirana and his fights against the odds before the lovers were reunited. It definitely makes Indonesian, particularly people in Kediri, very proud. It proves that in the midst of modernization, Kediri still preserves its cultural heritage very well. Can you imagine if one day Panji's story can penetrate to the Disney film and be watched by the whole world? Can you imagine that? Nothing is impossible, right? Remember that the story of Panji is just one of the literary works of the Kediri Kingdom that is recognized by the world. Besides, there are also many more relics of the kingdom that we need to preserve. If Panji's story can get attention from international communities, why not other literary works of Kediri can get the same recognition? Everything is possible if we all have strong willingness to preserve our culture of Kediri. Therefore, it's not enough to just learn and observe the heritage legacy that we have in Kediri. More importantly, we, as the youth and the next generation, we must continue to work hard in preserving the culture of Kediri. All in all, I hope that the youth will participate in maintaining and preserving the culture of Kediri, because culture represents our identity that makes us unique and different from others. And we have to be proud of everything we have and to show it to the world. Be proud of our culture and go Kediri. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mary. It's such a good presentation. Are you ready for the Q&A session?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the first question is from Pak Imam Mubarak. Jadi pertanyaan pertama dari Pak Imam Mubarak. Untuk Bapak Imam, saya persilahkan.
Halo, Mary. Selamat sore. Ya, halo Mary, selamat sore.
Selamat sore, Bapak.
Dari Banjarjo Kalibawang, Kulon Progo.
Iya, betul.
Ada tahu makamnya ini, Ki Ageng Nyai Ageng Sirang?
Ya, it's close to my house.
Oh gitu. Kan Bapak Kapolres Kediri Kota, Bapak AKBP Eko, Bapak Eko sekarang Kapolres Klaten juga dari Kalibawang juga.
Oh.
Sekarang Kapolres Klaten. Oke. Jadi saya bertanya, silahkan nanti dijawab dengan bahasa Inggris. Ya. Pertanyaan saya adalah, pertanyaan saya adalah pertanyaan orientasi tentang apakah Mary tahu Di Kediri itu ada 2 daerah, nama daerah kota dan Kabupaten Kediri.
Yes.
Ya, jadi di English Massive ini kita berdomisili di Kota Kediri. Ya. Jadi tadi Anda membahas tentang membahas tentang Kota Kediri dengan sejarah yang panjang, tetapi dalam tulisan Anda membahas juga tentang korelasi di paragraf awal, ya, paragraf awal menyebutkan bahwa Kota Kediri berjarak 130 km dari Surabaya. Kemudian di bawahnya Anda menulis tentang Calonarang. Di bawahnya lagi Anda menulis tentang Dahanapura. Ya. Posisi Dahanapura itu berada di Kota Kediri. Pertanyaan saya, coba Anda gambarkan tentang 2 wilayah ini, Kota dan Kabupaten Kediri. Ya. Beda loh ya, ada wali kota, ada bupati Kediri dan wali kota Kediri. Ya. Kalau ngomong itu maka kita menjadi agar lebih jelas dalam menulis, karena dalam penulisan sejarah ini kita nggak boleh salah sedikit saja itu berdampak kepada luar biasa kepada generasi selanjutnya. Ya, jadi jelaskan tentang Anda yang Anda ketahui, kalau Anda di daerahmu sebagai tempat bersejarah, ya ada makamnya pasukan Diponegoro, ada masjidnya Sunan Kalijogo, ada makamnya Nyai Ageng Serang. Karena saya pernah ke sana, ke Kulon Progo, jadi tahu. Ya, jadi kalau melihat itu nanti jelaskan tentang, saya ingin Anda jelaskan tentang Kota dan Kabupaten Kediri. Yang kedua tentang Anda menyebut tentang Dahanapura. Dahanapura itu artinya kota api. Kota api itu artinya adalah tempat ibu kota kerajaan Kahuripan sebelum dipecah menjadi Jenggolo dan Panjalu. Ya, oke, silakan.
Thank you, Mr. Mubarak. Firstly, to be honest, I haven't been Kediri, but I will try to answer as best as I can. So, Kota Kediri and Kabupaten Kediri is are 2 regions in Kediri, and in Kota Kediri there is that I know is in Kota Kediri there is 3 sub-regional kecamatan, I mean. Dengan different administrasi wilayah yang berbeda. And I'm sorry, Dahanapura is a small village a former of Kediri city. It was Dahanapura and now called Kediri. But Dahanapura is pusat pemerintahan, the Kingdom of Kediri. But I'm sorry about the difference of Kota Kediri and Kabupaten Kediri. Maybe I'm not, I don't know very well about Kota Kediri and Kabupaten Kediri. To be honest, when I join this competition, I explore Kediri city by Google Maps. So I walking around to Taman Brantas, to Sungai Brantas. Yeah. So everything I did by online.
All right, Mary, you tried your best. Thank you very much for the answer.
Oke, Mary. Terima kasih.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next question from Mr. Restu. Oke, untuk Pak Restu, over to you.
Kalau
Oh ya.
All right, sorry. For Mary, you will get the question from Miss Puri Viera. Yeah, the question will be shown through video, so you can answer the question directly.
Hi, Mary. In the last paragraph, you mentioned the importance of preserving cultural heritage. Can you tell us more on what has been done by either by the government or by the people to preserve these traditions?
Yeah, you can answer the question directly, Mary, because time is running.
What we have to do to preserve the culture, the key point is to the youth, as I mentioned on my last paragraph, that I mean my last presentation, that the youth and as the next generation must continue to work hard in preserving the culture of Kediri. So I think the government should force the youth generation to love the culture, to love our culture, because yeah, culture is our identity, our characteristic.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Well done. Okay, so let's next to the second finalist. Nabila, are you ready? Nabila, can you hear my voice? Halo Nabila. Nabila, maaf, audionya belum dinyalakan. Oke. Oke, Nabila, time
Oh,
is
can you hear
yours.
my voice?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear your voice.
Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever heard about Borobudur Temple or Prambanan Temple? Well, actually, there's another temple in Kediri Kingdom. My name is Nabila Humaira Henarni. I am from Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta University, and today I would like to present to you my essay entitled The Fascinating History About an Ancient Town in Indonesia. The city of Kediri is one of Indonesia's most ancient towns. Therefore, many myths are surrounding this city. The boundary between the Kediri and Jenggala region, particularly the Berantas River, is one of the most well-known myths. The Berantas River is said where a leader or community leader will lose their position if they try to cross it. This story is actually based on many incidents that occurred when a character from the east side of the Kediri tried to cross this river to fight his opponent. This myth is expanding on a broader scale. They say if a president crosses the river, he will also forfeit his presidency. Now, in addition to these stories, the city of Kediri is well known for the history of the kingdom's creation, relics discovered after the kingdom's fall, and the culture that the inhabitants of Kediri have preserved. The Quack inscription, created in 879 Anno Domini, and it records the history of the establishment of this city. During its establishment, Kediri went through two phases. The first phase began with Erlangga as the reigning king. During his rules, Erlangga was successful in unifying Dharmawangsa's field of activity, which had been separated owing to Sriwijaya's influence. However, in line with these Hindu beliefs, Erlangga desired to fulfill his ascetic responsibilities, so he quit and divided his power with his two sons. Surabaya, Malang, and Basuki are located in the eastern section of his realm, while the western half of the kingdom encompasses Madiun with the capital at Dahapura and is now located in the center of the kingdom. Now, the second phase begins once the territory is divided. The Kediri kingdom's history began in the mid 11th century with Sri Jayawarsa as the first monarch ruling from 1104 to 1115 Anno Domini, and Sri Kertajaya as the final king to reign. However, under his rules, the Kediri kingdom was destroyed owing to Sri Kertajaya's arbitrariness, which caused a revolt with the clergy group, leading the Kediri kingdom to weaken and eventually collapse in 1222 Anno Domini. Despite the fact that the Kediri kingdom has now fallen, the people of Kediri still maintain their culture by commemorating the anniversary of the city of Kediri every July 27. The Quack first inscription, issued by order of Sri Maharaja Rake Kayuwangi, is the textual source used to determine the anniversary of Kediri city. One Wakwak, which first began as a socio-cultural system and now grew into a kingdom the size of Kediri through time. Based on this inscription, actually, on July 27 was designated as the city of Kediri's anniversary. Now, a fallen empire must leave behind a historical legacy, including the kingdom of Kediri, which has several artifacts spread around the country. The first one is the Penataran Temple, which may be found on the slopes of Mount Kelut in Blitar, East Java. This temple site depicts the Rama tale from the Javanese version of the epic Ramayana, as well as the Krishna account from Trigunas Krishnayana epic poem. The kingdom of Kediri has the Kamulan inscription, which describes how the Western monarchy was attacked by the Eastern kingdom. And there is also the Krishnayana book, which was written during King Jayaswara's reign. And this literary work was progressing at the moment, and it featured the life history of Krishna, a kid with superpowers who enjoys assisting others. Not only does the kingdom of Kediri have inscriptions and literature, but it also possesses relics in the shape of sculptures as religious media for worshipping gods. The Vajrasattva Buddha statue, for example, was constructed in the 10th century and is now on display in the Verindische Kunst Museum in Berlin, Germany. To sum up what I just delivered, history is an intriguing story if we recognize and comprehend it. Culture is also the legacy that our forefathers have entrusted to us. However, preserving our culture requires more than just recognize it. We should also include our actions. For example, like wearing batik to important events, or we can celebrate every important day in our culture as the people of Kediri City do every year on Kediri's anniversary. We must continue to preserve our culture in order to maintain our national identity and also to be recognized by other countries. That's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Stay safe and stay healthy.
All right, thank you very much, Nabila. And the next is Q&A session. You only have 3 minutes to Q&A session in Q&A session, so make it concise and clear.
Okay.
The first question is from Miss Puri Vieira.
Hi Nabila, I'm just curious since you mentioned Panatara Temple as one of the biggest Hindu temples in the world. Are there locals that are Hindu nowadays and still use the temple for worship?
Yeah, you can answer the question.
Okay, thank you, Miss, for your questions. And actually, there is still a lot of Hindu people who use temple to do prayer. And I believe in Panataran Temple before COVID, there's still so many people to go there just to do prayer. But in this situation where we cannot go anywhere, unfortunately, the Panataran Temple can be visited by other people from the outside.
All right, great, Nabila. The second question from Pak Imam Mubarak. Time is yours.
Halo, selamat sore Nabila.
Sorry, Pak.
Sore. Nabila, tadi Anda menyinggung tentang Sungai Berantas, bahwa perbedaan jarak bahwa yang menamakan batas kerajaan Jenggala dan Tanjalo itu bukan Sungai Berantas. Tapi ada juga yang menarik adalah kisah seorang presiden jika melewati Kediri maka dia akan tertimpa bencana. Saya bertanya, Anda dasarnya dari mana? Yang kedua, harus Anda tunjukkan kutukan itu di era raja siapa? Ya, ada dia membuat ada namanya Kalingga Dharma Sastra, ada 119 pasal itu menyangkut tentang kutukan itu raja siapa, di tahun berapa, mungkin akan bisa memperkuat tulisan kamu sehingga orang semakin yakin bahwa inilah sebuah tempo sejarah yang masa lalu. Silakan.
Thank you, sir, for your questions. Well, actually, a long time ago, when there's a group of east section of Kediri and west section of Kediri, they always fight. So when each other wants to fight the other groups, they have to cross the river, right? And then for the curse itself, I'm sorry that I don't do research about it, but they said if they have bad intentions, such as like they want to fight his opponents, they will lose their some kind like power. And for the president cases, they make this myth to a broader scale. So they mean that if a president has bad intention to a country, then maybe the president will forfeit his presidency if he crossed the river. But about the curse, once again, I'm sorry, I don't do a lot of research about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nabila. Well done. You did it great. And then we go on to the third finalist. That is Yarita. Yarita, are you ready?
Yes. Just everyone hear my voice?
Yeah, that's clear, Yarita. Okay.
So let me set my timer first.
Yeah, your voice is
ready.
clear. Yeah, you can start now. You have maximum 7 minutes to present, so make it concise. Thank you. Time is yours.
Thank you. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yarita Nurliana. Everyone here can call me Yarita. I was born and grew up in a neighboring town of Kediri. Actually, it's Trenggalek, but I moved to Malang and then migrate to another town to follow my husband. First of all, thank you so much to all the judges for the opportunity and time, and also thanks to the committee for planning and designing this event, also for helping me rearrange my schedule to adjust to my personal medical situation, and also thanks to the other participants. I think Soraya for changing her turn with mine. So in this occasion, I will have a short talk about my topic, which I have written in my essay. That is about Larung Saji tradition and also the spirit of gratitude and how to continue this tradition, especially in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic like right now. In my talk, I will highlight three major points, which are the cultural or historical background of the tradition, and then also the second, the spirit or the values that underlie the tradition, and also next I will discuss how to continue this tradition, especially in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. So let's move on. First of all, the Larung Saji itself is an annual ritual that is held by the people living in the slope of Kelut Mountain. I believe the name of the village is Sugihwaras, and Larung Saji itself can be translated into floating offerings, but in this case, the offerings are not literally floated into the ocean, but instead the offerings are laid near the crater of the mountain. And this tradition is held once in a year and in the month of Muharram, which is right now, I believe this is now is the month of Muharram. Historically speaking, this tradition is very closely linked to the folklore, to the Venice folklore about Lembu Suro and Dewi Kilisuci. The story is very long, so I will not talk about into the detail about the story. But long story short, Lembu Suro was said to be proposing for marriage to the princess of Kilisuci, but he got rejected, and out of his anger, he let out a curse. And so after this event, the residents, in order to ward off the curse, they decided to hold this annual ritual to ward off the luck that is resulted from the Lembu Suro's curse. And then, so that's how this tradition, Larung Sesaji tradition, was coming into existence in the hindsight. And next, the second point is the value taught in this tradition. Many years ago, I was given the opportunity to visit the mountain Kelut and to witness the ritual with my own eyes. And one of the residents told me that actually the underlying values for this ritual is to show gratitude, to express feeling thankful to the mother nature, to the creator, to the God, for the prosperity, for well-being, as well as for the fertile soil. So the residents are able to cultivate the soil and to work and finally to harvest the crop. So that is why in the offerings, we can see that the offerings are in the shape of cones, and it consists of a lot of vegetables, fruits. They also have rice, cooked chicken, and with vegetables. And this offering was then gathered, collected in the middle, and it was then shared by a lot of people, by the residents. And not only that, the visitors outside from the Kediri residents may partake the offerings or the food. And for me, it's such a beautiful gesture to show the feeling of gratitude, thankful by sharing and giving what we have, and sharing and giving what we receive. And then we will go to the last point of my essay, which is how I propose that the spirit underlying this tradition, which is to show gratitude by sharing and giving, right now in the middle of pandemic, is more critical than ever. So we have already known that since by the COVID-19 pandemic, we all are affected by it, but some other people are hit harder by the pandemic. Some are losing their jobs, some are losing their breadwinner family members. So as some of us may have still been able to meet our daily basis, some are more struggling financially. So that is why I believe that sharing and giving right now is more critical and crucial than ever. And so even so that the government has implemented a couple of policies that are meant to restrict humans' physical contact. So a lot of events that involve gatherings, crowds are temporarily halted, including cultural events like what is it, Larung Sesaji. But even though that we right now cannot hold the ritual as how it was in the past during pre-pandemic time, I believe that we can still continue the values and the spirits that it's been teaching us. That is to give and to share what we have to express our gratitude. I think that's all that I need to speak on in this occasion. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I think I'm ready for the questions from the judges.
All right, if you are ready for the question and answer sessions, the first question is from Pak Restu. Okay, untuk Pak Restu, over to you.
Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, thank you. Yaritza, you're from Situbondo. How are you?
I'm not. I'm from Trenggalek. Actually,
You're from Trenggalek.
but
Okay.
I'm now in this city because of some job business.
Good then. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to appreciate what you have done in your writing. I find it very interesting, especially Larung Sesaji as one of the strong traditional in Kediri. In your essay, I can find that there is a statement that you know, it's really based on your experience. You know, because you live there nowadays, and you also have experience making a report. And now I'm curious about the report that you've made, especially for the class of philosophy that you've done. And because there's no, I found that there's no linking or connection between your report to the other descriptions that you mentioned, especially you also referred to several resources. Then I'm just curious about the report itself. The report must be more comprehensive than just this essay, because this is an academic report. Now, can you please tell me about the result of your report and the impacts of Larung Sesaji based on the report that you made, especially for the local people, and how Larung Sesaji is, becomes recognized maybe to the world? As you can see, there are also many other traditions in Java. You know, how did you find it in your report?
Okay, thank you for the questions. I will try to remember as best as possible because I did the report like more than a decade ago. So I am afraid that I forgot the details, but it's basically descriptive report. We didn't do a lot of like argumentative things in the report. We described what we saw during the ritual. So I joined the ritual from the story in the, I could not remember the name of the place, but I remember that's where the people gathered and they were such beautiful costumes. And then they also gathered the offerings, and then we marched long walk to the near the crater. So that's all we report. And also I did a couple of interviews with the local residents about what they learned from the ritual, and that's what I included in my essay. That I found the residents told me that the ritual was about expressing gratitude, and that's also what I highlighted in my report, because our professor asked us to highlight what we learned from our experience attending and joining the ritual. And as how the second question, how this ritual can be recognized globally, do you mean, are you asking me like what is the way to make this ritual can be globally recognized, or how? I am afraid that I am misunderstanding your question.
Okay, I mean the impact of Larung Sesaji itself based on the report that you made, because you must have found what I said, the positive, especially the positive benefits, especially for the local people, and how it is also recognized by other people outside Kediri. Maybe that will also give impacts.
I see.
The local people.
The positive impacts. I remember I mentioned a couple of things how it teaches us about diversity, because the people that followed the ritual not only came from one single group of people, they came from different religious group, and also different areas in the local region, and the religious leaders are also diverse, not only from one group of religion. So that's what I highlight, and I think that's also one of the positive impacts of the ritual that is teaching us about the diversity and respecting other people who have different beliefs and different social or cultural background than us, and how this become recognized by other people outside Kediri. I think I will speak on the behalf of my personal experience, as I grew up near the I don't live far away from Kediri, right? So since I was a child, I've been very familiar with the ritual because people in my area was talking about that, and Kalut is also very popular among the people. I'm sure it's not only popular among the people in the East Java, but also among people across Indonesia. And since I was a child, I heard about that a lot from my neighbors, my friends, my parents' friends were talking about the ritual, and they were also talking about going there during the ritual. But during that time, I felt like it was impossible to go to the mountain goat because I was still young and my work was limited, and I felt like that was very far away from where I live. But then as I grew up, I learned that, oh, it's not very far away and I could go there. So that's from my personal experience. But I believe the government of Kediri will play an important role in introducing these rituals to the outer world.
All right, Yarita, that's such an amazing answer. So thank you very much. And the next question is from Pak Imam Mubarak.
Oke, selamat sore Yarita.
Selamat sore, Bapak.
Nah, ini suara aslinya kelihatan. 10 tahun pengalaman mengajar, Anda melakukan riset di Gunung Kelut di tahun 2008. Artinya setahun setelah meletusan tahun 2007. Ya.
Insya Allah.
Ya,
begitu.
jadi riset yang Anda lakukan cukup bagus, bahwa Anda melakukan sebuah interview riset, hampir kepada seluruh masyarakat yang melakukan larung sesaji. Pertanyaan saya gampang saja. Tadi saya sudah membaca hampir keseluruhan naskah yang Anda tulis. Bagus, saya ingin Anda mengetahui sedikit. Ada pertanyaan simpel saja. Tak kenal maka tak sayang. Berapakah tinggi Gunung Kelut dari permukaan?
I'm sorry. I think I'm not capable to answer that on the spot. I need to check my source, and I need to check the facts about that. I'm not good with remembering factual numbers. I don't want to get my fact wrong, so if you give me some time, I will have a look on that. But I'm sorry, I don't think I can answer that on the spot.
Oke, yang kedua tolong dijawab aja. Kapan Gunung Kelut meletus, tanggal dan bulan di tahun 2014?
No memory at all about that. I just remember it's around 2014 because I was in Malang during that time, but really no idea like what month and what date. I'm really sorry.
Okay, that's okay, Yarita. Thank you very much. And the fourth finalist is Ella. Ella, hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Ella, you can start your presentation. Time is yours.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see in your screen, my name is Ella Halimah Sa'diyah, and you can call me Ella. It's an honor for me to be here as finalist of National Writing Competition. So firstly, I will thanks to all the church and crews of NWC who allows me to present my essays here. Secondly, I will gather my courage to ask to all the audience here, do you ever visit any site in Kediri or other Kediri's historical heritage? Do you know how is their condition? Is it good? Me, myself, exactly this essay was inspired by my own experience when I read some reports about Stonogedong sites. In 2013, I read that Stonogedong site has been vandalized. What makes me so sad what made me so sad at that time is that the reasons of the destructions is not for something very important, but just to build a new building on it, and that the people doesn't think that this site is important. And in the couple years after that, I hear another sad story that Calon Arang sites located in Kabupaten, I know it, but it's in Kediri, so it's still near from here, has been vandalized too. And this time, the reasons is there is a difference because there is a conflict between some people beliefs. The first one is some people who believe that by offering something to Calon Arang Craves will give them some advantage, but another side doesn't like this kind of offering, so they vandalize the site. But what more surprised me from this incident is that exactly Calon Arang site is not the grave of Calon Arang. It's not the grave of Calon Arang. It's not confirmed yet, but because of the keeper, the site's keeper, tell this story to everyone, and even reorganized and rearranged the artifacts there. So he makes it like it is Calon Arang sites, and makes people offering something there. These things makes me sad because this keeper should keep this artifact for kind of vandalism and blurring some history, but he is the one who vandalized this site. The newest case is in 2019 when I hear that the Jembatan Lama, we used to call it the Jembatan Lama in Kediri, burned, and the cause is cigarettes. When I hear about this, I'm so sad because, yeah, you know, it's a kind of Jembatan, a kind of bridge which has an old history, and the main reason that made me so sad is that because the cost is cigarettes. I think it's a kind of form that it's a kind of sign that people unaware to this historical bridge. From this kind of sites, from this kind of cases, I conclude that there is a very important need for people to know and to understand about the importance of historical heritage, not only for youth, but also for the elder generations, because in fact, in our environment, I see that is a lot of sites kept by the elderly, not the old. I know that the government has done a lot of things like Kediri Cultural Heritage virtual travelings, or giving some kind of facilities like virtual museums, but I think it's not enough yet because there is a lot of cases here and it's all new. So I hope that the government will make some event or some kind of event which not only for youth but also for elderly too. That's all, I think. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much a lot. So we're going to the Q&A session, and you have to answer the question 1 minute. So if you answer the question more than 1 minute, you will be automatically muted. Okay, so answer the question short and clear. The first question is from Miss Puri Fiera.
Hi, Alok. You mentioned that the differences in belief and intolerance are some of the problems that occur in the attempt of preserving cultural heritage, like people vandalizing the site because they disagreed with what the other group was practicing. What do you think can be done to overcome this particular issue?
All right, as I said before, I think that not only government exactly, but a lot of people should try to socialize the importance of the historical heritage, including sites and other historical heritage, to not only youth but also elderly by some events like annual events on socialist, on some kind of seminar or another kind of thing, but reaching so not only some people in the center of the city but also the rural area too, because a lot of sites located in rural area. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Ella. That's nice answer. So the second question is from Pak Imam Mubarok.
Selamat sore, Elok.
Selamat sore, Pak.
Elok
Ya.
asli Kediri.
Yes.
Ya. Jalan Merintis Kemerdekaan 158 Kota Kediri. Ya.
Ya.
Kebetulan dari apa yang kamu sampaikan, 2 di antaranya adalah objek penelitian saya mulai tahun 2004.
Okay.
Jadi adalah Buruk Over dan Brantaste Kediri atau jembatan lama.
Okay.
Ya, itu merupakan jembatan dengan konstruksi besi pertama di Jawa. Ya, dibangun namanya insinyurnya, saya ingin tahu siapa nama insinyur yang membangun Brug Over dan Brantaste Kediri. Ya, yang kedua adalah tentang tadi Anda menyebut tentang Kerajaan Kediri. Ada peristiwa penting tentang Kediri, yakni kejayaan Kediri daerah Jaya Katuang. Kemenangan Jaya Katuang atas Kediri secara global tulisanmu bagus, ya. Presentasi yang kamu sampaikan juga bagus. Saya ingin tahu kapankah kemenangan dendam terakhir Jaya Katuang, kemenangan atas Kertanegara, mengalahkan Singosari. Pertanyaan saya pertama adalah siapakah nama insinyur daripada Brug Over dan Brantaste Kediri? Yang kedua, kapan peristiwa kemenangan Jaya Katuang atas Singosari?
Alright. I know it's a very interesting question, but I'm so sorry for that. I'm not a kind of person which used to remember name and years easily. So I will say that I don't know the name of the engineer who the architects of this bridge. The only thing I know is that this is the first iron structure in Java, and even older than the Brooklyn Bridge, and this is now closed for people. And for the second question, I don't really know the years about Jaya Katwang's and Kertanegara accident years, the years of that kind of history. Well, the things I know is because I know it from the videos and some kind of journal. I know that the one who finally destroyed Kediri Kingdom is Raden Wijaya, the son-in-law of.
All right, thank you, Ella. Your answer is really clear and amazing. Yeah, so let's, because time is running out, so for all the finalists, please manage your time in the presentation session, and for the Q&A session, you only have 1 minute to answer the question, so make it concise, all right? And the fifth finalist, it is Irma. Irma, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, Irma, you can start your presentation.
Hello, everybody. Here, I would like to present my essay. There are some reasons why I choose the unique cultures in Kediri that reflect the values of Pancasila as my essay's title. First, as we know that for the impact of globalization era, many cultures in Indonesia have been forgotten by societies such as Kropiak Ikan tradition at Sumber Gundi and Larung Sesaji Kelut. Muklis, one of the journalists from Kumparan, stated that Kropiak Ikan is a unique tradition about catching fish held by the Tanjung societies at Paku Subdistrict, Kediri Regency. From the statement, we can get the point that Kropiak Ikan is a tradition with their own uniqueness, sipped from the extraordinary activity who many hundreds people come inside to the pond at Gundi for catching fish by using the traditional tools as like dipper, scoop, and others. Actually, it is held at Monsuro as usual. Besides the uniqueness, this tradition also contains of 5 values of Pancasila. The activity that reflects the first Pancasila values seems from delivering prayer together, led by customary chief before doing the event as a gratitude feeling to the god. Next, the people with the yellow ribbon, as long as they came from Tanjung village, they can follow this tradition. So this reflects the second Pancasila value, which considers humans' authority same with others. In other side, the accompaniment of societies with bringing ceremonial dish before starting catching fish shows the spirit of unity. I think it is a reflection of the third Pancasila value. This tradition also contains of the fourth Pancasila value. It can be seen from all people over there to a discussion to get the decisions related to this activity. The last is the distribution of fish is done fairly, in which people get the same portion. So it explains that they don't want to be greedy. For me, it is as the reflection of the fifth Pancasila value. The other unique culture in Kediri is Kelut Larung Sesaji. Same with Kropiak Ikan, the Kediri societies to this event a Monsuro. Ita Kurnia, one of the writer of Jurnal Pendidikan Sekolah Dasar, who tells about values of cultures in Kediri as the effort to preservation of Indonesia cultures, said that Kelut Larung Sesaji is the Kelut culture is flooding the products of human activities that are done in the earth or nature. According to the expression, the purpose of this tradition is related to the gratitude feeling for agriculture crops in Kediri Regency, with the hope of becoming a region of Kemahripah Jinawi. Besides that, according to Miftahul and friends, Kelut Larung Sesaji is a ritual tradition at the cauldron of Mount Kelut conducted in Sukiwaras village, Ngancar Subdistrict, Kediri Regency, in order to reject the oath of Lembu Suro, the Saifed goddess Kili Suci. From the relences, that's why the Kediri societies must defend and keep the inheritance. On the other hand, this activity also gives a uniqueness, such as the kind of ceremonial dish of white and yellow rice, completed with fruits, vegetables, and side dish which are decorated. It is not possible. Then it is put in the middle, in which all people over there on grab it fast. There are also some materials used at Larung Sesaji, such as pure coffee, plain pepper, roasted chicken, and others. Besides that, there is the main material to floated into the cauldron. It is something worth a diamond stone. As a unique culture, Larung tradition also describes the values of Pancasila, in which the delivering prayer ritual as the expression of gratitude to the god. This shows the first Pancasila value. Then the ritual of both distributing the crop of agriculture and the alms to the poor people around the Mount Kulot contains of the second Pancasila value. Besides that, the reflection of third Pancasila value seems everyone is allowed to join this tradition. With considering tribe, age, even religion, moreover, Sugiwara societies and the Kodiri district government always do a deliberation before conducting this event. I think this will reflect the fourth Pancasila value. The last but not least, the fifth Pancasila value stems from the Jaranan Festival and cooking competition in which the winner is chosen fairly. As we know that, it describes about respecting the justice of other people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Irma. For the first question is from Pak Imam Mubarak.
Oke. Selamat sore Irma Yunita.
Selamat sore Pak.
Irma, saya tadi mendengarkan apa yang telah kamu sampaikan. Kamu menyinggung pertama adalah soal kamu harus ingat bahwa hari jadi kota dan Kabupaten Kediri itu beda. Kalau kota Kediri itu berdasarkan prasasti Kua 27 Juli tahun 879, kalau prasasti di Kabupaten Kediri itu berdasarkan prasasti Harinjing, ya, tanggal berapa? Tanggal 25 Maret tahun 804 Masehi. Jadi beda, ya, beda. Ini hanya perlu penandasan bahwa apa yang kamu sampaikan tadi antara kota dan Kabupaten Kediri berbeda tahun. Yang kedua, saya ingin bertanya, tolong kamu jawab, apa sih ada tadi Anda menyatakan tentang tradisi grup yak ikan dan larung di kelut, ya, larung saji. Apakah yang menunjukkan nilai-nilai, mencerminkan nilai-nilai Pancasila itu di mana? Saya pengen saya pengen menjelaskan itu dari kamu. Di mana nilai kamu sebutkan secara detail?
Ya, Irma, you can answer the question.
Jadi untuk yang pertama, grup yak ikan yang menunjukkan nilai Pancasila sila pertama.
Nggak bisa dengan bahasa Inggris?
I'm sorry.
Oke, tidak apa-apa, sudah. Kamu jelaskan aja.
Yang menunjukkan nilai pada Pancasila pertama, yaitu diadakannya sebelum masyarakat dari desa Paku, dari kecamatan Paku pergi menangkap ikan, diadakan sebuah selamatan yang biasanya itu tumpeng. Nah, di situ selamatan tersebut mencerminkan harapan kepada Tuhan dan rasa syukur atas berkah yang telah diberikan. Pada sila kedua, yang mengikuti dalam grup yak ikan tersebut tidak hanya dari masyarakat Paku, tidak membeda-bedakan antara usia, jenis kelamin maupun tua maupun muda.
Okay, thank you, Irma, for the answer. So the next question is from Pak Restu. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Nanda. Hello, Irma, you're from Kediri, right?
Yes, I'm from Kediri.
Yeah, to be honest, in terms of writing, your essay is good. It requires, it meets the requirements of academic writing because you also cite several resources very well in your essay. Probably you just need to improve your language, vocabulary, but for the structure of your essay, I think it's already well organized so that the reader, especially outside Kediri, like me, must have been wondering, wow, it's good. Apart from the facts, apart from the evidence of your writing, but you actually cite other resources really well. Now, my question is, in the beginning, I expected, because the topic or the theme of the competition is not just about heritage or culture, but there's also an aspect of history, right? This is something that what I expected from your essay, but I didn't find any description about the history or historical perspectives about the tradition, the two traditions that you mentioned, Grobiak Ikan and Larung Sesaji. Can you please just a little bit share with me a little bit of description of the historical background of the two traditions?
Grobiak ikan tradition is a tradition about catching fish by using the traditional tools as like dipper, scope, and others. It is held by Mansura is one Muharram.
Okay, only that, Irma? Okay, so thank you very much, Irma, for your performance. The next one is Miftahpur. Miftahpur, are you
Yes.
ready? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you can start your presentation now.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's such privilege and pleasure for me to be here in this occasion, National Writing Competition of Koin Emas 2021. I'm Miftahur Rahmahayu Saputri, and today I would like to deliver my writing about Suroan between tradition and COVID-19 pandemic. Well, we all know that the culture in Kediri that remain preserved nowadays is Suroan, which held in every first Suro or first Muharram. Basically, it aims at honoring and praying for Sri Aji Jayabaya for his nobility and majesty. He was one of the most influential and sacred king of Kediri Kingdom who could reunite Kediri Kingdom. It can be proven by the inscription of Ngantang or Hantang that stated Panjalu Jayati, or the victory of Panjalu. Petilasan Jayabaya itself was found through the dreams of Warsodikromo, and in 1976, it was officially opened to the public after the restorations by Hondo Dento family. Since then, people started sacralized and commemorating Suroan at Petilasan Sri Aji Jayabaya. As many traditional people believe that Petilasan Jayabaya as the place where Sri Aji Jayabaya achieved moksha. Suroan itself has meant to strengthen and grateful to God Almighty for his salvations, as well as ask for blessing and also guidance for the better next year. Furthermore, it aims at conserving the culture of the ancestors of Kediri. Nowadays, it's not only as the traditions, but also it becomes one of the popular religious tourism in Kediri and attract many tourists and people to see and capture the moment.
Many people want to experience the atmosphere of Suron at Petilasan Sri Aji Jayabaya and pray for their own purposes. The traditions or Suron itself has three main stages. The first is preparation, second is main agenda, and third is closing. In preparation stage, people who are involved in Suron dress up wearing Japanese traditional costumes and the equipment such as heirloom, planchon, samir, and flower for offering or sesajen also prepared too. Before going to the main agenda, there is opening ceremony at Chief Village Office of Menang by some speeches, and after that, the people start walking to Petilasan around 500 meters without wearing footwear. In the main agenda, it is held at Petilasan Jayabaya, which consists of several rituals such as unjuk atur, flower sowing, praying, chaus dahar, and unjuk lengser at Loka Moksa, Loka Busana, and also Loka Mahkota. Those are the parts or places at Petilasan Sri Aji Jayabaya itself. In the closing stages, it is located at Sendang Tirto Kamadanu with the processions of 16 young girls who bring offering flowers, and flower sowing is also conducted there. The girls haven't had their period yet to represent the holy of Suron and to represent the holy of that place itself. Well, actually, Suron Festival coincides with society's activities such as cleaning the village and also nyadran. But due to COVID-19 pandemic, it has not been carried out since 2020. The access to Petilasan Jayabaya was completely guarded and closed. Furthermore, one Suron festival in 2020 was cancelled. This closure, of course, affected to the decrease of crowd at Petilasan Jayabaya in Suro. In 2021, since the government officially extended lockdown and also restriction policy, again, the Suron Festival has closed to public. Only traditional and religious figures, village government, committee, or people who were involved at that rituals that can enter to Petilasan Jayabaya. During the pandemic, the restrictions of Suron was not only limited on the durations that must be done earlier, but also the limitation of people that involved there. The health protocol was strictly enforced, and also there's no additional celebrations like in the past. In this pandemic, Suron at Petilasan Sri Aji Jayabaya means as substantive ritual only, not as celebrations or even tourism destinations. By those explanations, we can see that actually Suron shows us how acculturation between religious value and also traditions can work together as two fundamental things that cannot be compared and cannot be separated. By allowing Suron in this pandemic, with some policies, of course, it proves that the government of Kediri or the government of Kediri Regency care and pay attention to the continuity of the traditions. And we, as the society, of course, we have to understand that the condition now is different. It's not the same as the previous or in the previous years or at the past. In short, Suron as a cultural asset that represents the glory of Kediri. Pandemic may change the processions, the event, or even the celebrations, but it should not change the spirit and also the value of Suron itself. All right, that's all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thakur. Wonderful presentation. Okay, so for the Q&A session, you will get the first question from Pak Imam Mubarak. Time is yours, Pak Imam.
Selamat sore, Miftahur.
Selamat sore, Pak.
Sudah. Selamat sore, Miftahur.
Ya, selamat sore, Pak.
Dari IAIN Kediri, asli Rembangan Tilwe. Ya. Anda begitu yakin bahwa hasil tanpa melakukan sebuah riset bahwa dasar yang digunakan dalam penamaan wilayah tadi adalah menyatukan bahwa ada mimpinya Warsodikromo, ya, itu menyatakan bahwa tempat petilasan itu yang ada. Saya ingin tahu arti daripada Panjalujayati yang perlu Anda jelaskan, di manakah peristiwa prasasti Hantang itu berlangsung, ya. Yang perlu saya garis bawahi, ini menjadi catatan buat semuanya, ya, bahwa peristiwa Muharram Surawan itu tidak terjadi di era Prabu Jayabaya, tetapi terjadi di era Sultan Agung. Ya, di era Sultan Agung, karena misalnya kalau mengumbah Jamasi Pusoko dan sebagainya, ada peristiwa-peristiwa penting di bulan Muharram, tanggal 10 Muharram. Sayyidina Husain meninggal di Medan Karbala, ya, Nabi Nuh kemudian selamat dari tentara Fir'aun, ya, Nabi Ibrahim bebas terbakar dari api juga di Muharram. Jadi Suro itu adalah bulan Asyura, bulan ke-10 Asyura, ya, itu bulan hari ke-10. Hari ke-10 ini menandakan bahwa ada peristiwa penting yang harus diingat, bukan berdasarkan peristiwa-peristiwa larung yang digunakan. Itu adalah bentuk persembahan. Ya, jadi saya tanyakan adalah apa yang Anda bisa jelaskan tentang Panjalujayati terjadi di tahun berapa dan di mana lokasinya? Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So, as I know that the history of Panjalujayati, it was happened because the spirited of Kediri Kingdom that was spirited in Erlangga era, because Erlangga has two sons, Sri Samarawijaya and also Mapanjika Rasakan, and he was divided the kingdoms like Panjalu and also one of them is Daha or other kingdom. And then in the period of Jayabaya, he could reunite the Panjalu itself, I mean the kingdom itself, into one kingdom after 16 years of fighting and also the conflict of two kingdoms itself. So it was also proven by Panjalujayati, or the victory of Panjalu. It means that the Panjalu or Kediri Kingdom has been get the success, or has been getting the victory. That's all. Thank you so much. And
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Miftahur. The next question is from Pak Restu. Over to you.
Okay, Mbak Miftahur, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
you bring a topic of Suroan for this essay in this competition. Okay, I'm from Java. I'm also a Javanese. I know Kediri is also Java, a part of Java Island as well, and the tradition seems similar. And however, you know, Suroan is also very common, right, for Javanese people. Even when I was a child, many people told me about Suroan itself. And when I was teenager, and I'm growing up like this, I also heard a lot of activities in different areas of Java. Yeah, people conduct Suroan ceremonies themselves. Now, can you please tell me only one significant aspect that makes Suroan in Kediri city especially different from Suroan in other places in Java?
Okay, thank you so much. Why Suroan in Kediri city is different than other places in other region, for example, it's because Suroan, especially held at Petilasan Jayabaya, they concern to the activities to commemorate and also to remember the majesty and the nobility of Sri Aji Jayabaya, as well as they say, or the people want to credit to the God for all of the salvations, and also ask for the better future, ask for the better next year. And that's I think like the place and also the traditions or the rituals is different, because it is the acculturations of of religion and also traditions or Japanese tradition. Thank you.
Well done with Dr. Rohma. Thank you very much for the time. And the next one is Nika De Prima. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, Miss.
All right, you can start your presentation now.
Good afternoon, everyone. How has your day been? I hope you have a good day. In this best occasion, I'm Prima Gayatri. Proudly, will do a presentation with my essay with the title Ngadat Bulanan, Knowing and Understanding Kediri City's Culture Through Traditional Clothes. Ladies and gentlemen, Kediri City is ancient capital for the Javanese kingdom and one of the main cultural center for the Javanese. In the cultural preservation by the simplest scope, Javanese language is the daily language and still be the most widely used language in the city. Such a good thing. However, by the globalization and the acculturation of foreign cultures, let's think. Is it enough if we want to preserve Kediri City cultures only by local language? Then, are you sure that the Javanese language can use continuously and cannot be replaced? It's obvious, because nowadays people compare to learn foreign languages. That's why we need something more special and different to preserve Kediri's culture. With the Ngadat Bulanan idea is the act of wearing traditional clothes on every 27th of every month. It's hoped the citizen will always remember about their culture by wearing traditional clothes. And why 27? Because 27 is the anniversary date of Kediri City, exactly on 27th July. Inspired by the Mayor Regulation of Kediri, number 15 of 2016, it arranges batik to be the one of daily official attire for the Kediri government employees. In addition, record on official website of Tempo.co in 2016, Mr. Abu Bakar, as a mayor of Kediri City, issued a regulation which instructs all of Kediri City government employees to wear shirt made of tenun ikat fabric on Thursday. And by that regulation, the sale of tenun ikat batik has increased. Wow. Okay, back to Ngadat Bulanan idea. Different from the Mayor regulation, where the people who use batik and tenun ikat fabric are only the government employees. But in Ngadat Bulanan, we make the people who will wear are the officials and the employees of government institution, private institution, and also educational institution, include the student. And in the implementation of Ngadat Bulanan will require to polite provisions and compactly. The man will use shirt made of tenun ikat with long black pants, and the women will use kebaya top and tenun ikat fabric patterns. And in the connection of the increasing sale of tenun ikat, since the Mayor regulation has applied, let's think if Ngadat Bulanan is realized and elaborate, it will absolutely increase the interest and the number of sale of local industry fashion in Kediri more significant and bigger, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Kediri citizen must know about this quote, Jojo ing bojo, which means drifting of danger. Yes, it's the motto of Kediri City. Then, regarding the alignment of this motto, with Ngadat Bulanan will overcome the dangers of Kediri City culture and legacy being crushed and forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, in the implementation of Ngadat Bulanan, Kediri City can take inspiration from Bali Province, which Bali Province has the same purpose with a different way. Bali Province has a Governor Regulation number 80 of 2018. It concerns of use of Bali's language, script, and literature, as well as the implementation of Bulan Bahasa Bali. And for your information, according to Central Statistic Agency, the number of foreign visitors who visit Bali increased by 3.37% and the domestic visitors increased by 8.07% since the regulation has applied. And by a good socialization about how important to wear traditional clothes, Kediri City will be able to do the same thing with a different way to recognize, preserve, and be proud about their culture. Okay, by what has explained previously, it's not enough if we want to preserve Kediri culture only by local language. We need something more special and different. And with Nadat Bulanan, we'll be able to realize the cultural protection and development and also the real role of community to participate. And it's also be able to attract the connoisseurs of culture and also improve the sale of local fashion industry in Kediri City. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Garvey say, people without knowledge about their history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. I'm Prima Gayatri. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prima Gayatri or Nika de Prima Gayatri. Okay, such a wonderful presentation. So for Q&A session, the first question is from Pak Restu. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Nika de. I really appreciate everyone joining this competition, especially those who are from outside Kediri, and they have a courage like you. I really appreciate it. In relation to your title, the first thing, the first thing that came up to my mind was that you would explore more about the type of the clothes themselves or the description about the clothes themselves, but you try to encourage anyone in Kediri to promote wearing Kediri clothes instead of the description of the clothes themselves. No problem. My question is more important than that, actually. In your fifth paragraph, you mentioned and compare the case happened in Bali to what happened in Kediri. You mentioned the government in Bali encourages people to promote or preserve their culture by regulations, like they have to use or even apply language, script, literature, especially in the implementation of Bulan Bahasa Bali. But I don't find any correlation between this case to the promotion of clothes, traditional clothes that you are trying to highlight, okay, in your essay for Kediri people, that you actually want Kediri people to promote wearing clothes as well. But in Bali case, I don't find wearing clothes is also one of the promotion programs in the Balinese government based on your essay. Can you please describe that? Explain to me about that.
Okay, thanks for the question, Mr. Stu. Okay, actually, in Bali City, there is also Governor Regulation number 81 that's concerned about the wearing of traditional clothes not on Bali, but every people in Bali on every Thursday have to wear a traditional clothes from their each origin. Like maybe I'm from Jakarta, but I live in Bali. And on every Thursday, I have to wear Jakarta traditional clothes like that. But I didn't mention it because I want to give inspiration by the governor regulation that concerns of the Balinese language and implementation of Bulan Bahasa Bali. Kediri City can take inspiration due to promote traditional clothes, but in different way. Absolutely, because if in Bali province, all of traditional clothes from Indonesia, but in Kediri, with Ngadat Bulanan, I will make and I will give an idea if just the Kediri City traditional clothes, not from all traditional clothes in Indonesia. And we can take inspiration from the good thing that Bali got from the governor regulation, and absolutely, Kediri City will also get the same thing, and the people will always remember about tenun ikat and kebaya, and absolutely, the young generation will know and more understand about their culture through the traditional clothes. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prima Gayatri. The next question is from Pak Imam Mubarak. Time is yours.
Selamat sore, Gayatri.
Sore, Pak.
Gayatri, saya pengen tahu kamu jelaskan, tadi Anda menjelaskan tentang ngadat bulanan. Jadi saya pengen tahu, karena diksi yang Anda pakai, ngadat ini tidak dipergunakan dalam bahasa Indonesia. Ya, dalam konteks keseharian di penggunaan bahasa, ngadat, adat dari asal kata adat, kemudian ngadat artinya bahwa itu sesuatu yang langsung mengarah kepada suatu adat. Coba bisa kamu jelaskan tentang ngadat, terus yang kedua tentang ya terima kasih kamu memberikan masukan yang luar biasa bagi Kota Kediri bahwa Bali adalah inspirasi dalam setiap pelaksanaan berpakaian adat yang digunakan di tiap bulannya. Tapi di Kota Kediri tidak memiliki pakaian adat, tetapi yang digunakan adalah kain tenun ikat, batik bandar. Ya, jadi secara umum kalau penggunaan kita masih berada di era Mataram di Keraton Surakarta, jadi yang digunakan adalah pakaian khas di Surakarta. Tapi Kediri sendiri sudah ada. Saya ingin jelaskan, kamu jelaskan tentang diksi yang kamu gunakan tentang ngadat itu sendiri, karena ini bagi orang lain cukup sangat kurang familiar untuk didengar. Terima kasih.
Okay, thanks for the question, Mr. Imam Mubarak. I will answer. Okay, from ngadat. Yes, absolutely what you have been explaining is right. Ngadat is like something more traditional, like a culture. Adat, yes. I make ngadat bulanan idea where the people wear traditional clothes on every 27, because that is the anniversary date of Kediri City. Yes, I really want to see Kediri citizens use traditional clothes or promote their adat, their culture in their anniversary date. Yes, and I really hope by this ngadat bulanan, the people will more understand, more know about that adat. That means culture from Kediri City. And in anniversary date is a really special day. And as the citizens of Kediri, we can celebrate Kediri City anniversary on every month by ngadat bulanan. That's all, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Prima Gayatri. You did it great. For the next finalist is Soraya. Soraya, where are you?
Hello.
Yeah, all right, Soraya, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you can start now.
Okay, hello, good afternoon, judges and the participants. My name is Soraya Latifah, and I'm from Brawijaya University. So my essay is about connecting people to nature with the tradition of Larung Sesaji. So it's all begin with today. Our nature and tradition have the same problem. Both are endangered. Since Western culture or modern culture like K-pop have been taking part of our life, our young generation start to care less about our local culture. We can see how the elders and not the youth that mainly attend like wayang show or any other traditional show. Now, on the other hand, our nature are also in danger because humans have exploited nature to gain more for the economic benefit. Especially, we cannot live without nature, and therefore, we should protect the nature from the extinction, and we can learn to protect the environment from learning from our cultural belief. And one of them is the Larung Sesaji tradition. So Larung Sesaji is a traditional festival that has been celebrated since ancient times by the Kediri people. The tradition were initially believed to protect the people from the art of the Lembu Suro. But that's not all. The Larung Sesaji also signifies our gratitude toward a higher power for providing a bountiful harvest, fertile soil, and protection. And it is our way to thank our God and for the nice living and our cultural product. The tradition can teach us so many things, and if we apply and learn through it, we can live in harmony with nature or any other human being. So there is so many things that we can learn from the Larung Sesaji tradition. The first, the ceremony begins with a traditional dance performance. The dancer will then broke the sesaji and give them to the elders. This symbolizes that we should respect the elders or the older generation. The second, the Larung Sesaji tradition, also there is an event when people will scramble and sharing the product or agricultural product to the those who need it. It's like our ancestor actually trying to portray that we as a human need to be taking care of each other, and it was inside the Larung Sesaji tradition. And third, it's the Larung Sesaji tradition itself is can be attended by people from different backgrounds, like different ethnic or group or also different religion. Everyone can attend this ritual, so it's like portraying a unity and a diversity. And in the end, the people of Kediri have seen their cultural tradition and nature fit together in a way that promote harmony and also respect. The ritual of Larung Sesaji is a proof that since ancient times, Kediri people had built a balanced relationship with nature, and it reflects on our belief on how essential nature is. It explains how life should be carried out in harmony both with nature, human, and especially with God. So the Larung Sesaji tradition can teach us that nature is not a human tool. Instead, nature is our friend. With the local tradition or the tradition of Larung Sesaji, we can protect the nature. Then in the end, Larung Sesaji tradition is a part of our local wisdom. I mean, as an Indonesian, it is also our identity. And to protect the nature, we should protect the tradition. It is our duty to preserve both nature and the tradition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soraya. Are you ready for the Q&A session?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The first question is from Miss Puri Viera. So you can answer it concise, yeah, short and clear.
Okay.
Hi, Soraya. Such an interesting topic. As you mentioned, since it's no longer called Larung because the lake that they used isn't there anymore, and apparently people can't come closer to the mountain because of its volcanic activity. I'm just curious, what do the people do nowadays to carry on with this tradition?
Okay, thank you for the question. So in 27, where there's an eruption of the Mount Kelut, it's become become a lava, and then the lava hill, and that's why people prohibited to enter or to Larung the sesaji in there, since the lake is actually gone back then in 2017 in 27. I'm sorry, and then but today, since the 2014, where the Kelut erupts again, the lava hill, it's gradually become smaller, and since 2018, 2018. I'm sorry, I wrong the years. Okay, so since 2018, there's the ritual of Larung Sesaji already began with people gradually larung the offering in the lake, but it's not similar to the before 2007, because now the people who can larung or who can sell the sesaji is only the chosen one. It's like the caretaker or the chief, since there is still some problem with the street or some problem that may harm the people if they come closer to the mountain. But yeah, the Larung Sesaji help. The Larung Sesaji is still being a ceremony that's celebrated by the Kediri's people by placing the sesaji or the offering around the street chosen by the chief or by the chosen people to sell it, the offering to the lake or to the mountain. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soraya. Okay, for the second question is from Pak Imam Mubarok. Over to you.
Sore Soraya.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ya, mahasiswi Ilmu Kemasyarakatan Universitas Brawijaya, jurusan Ilmu Sosiologi. Pertanyaan saya, ya, ini harus kamu garis bawahi dulu bahwa catatan buat kamu, ya, larung sesaji di Kota Kediri, kamu harus bisa membedakan antara Kota Kediri dan Kabupaten Kediri. Kota Kediri larung sesaji baru diadakan di tahun 2002. Celebration yang pertama itu adalah Hari Jadi Kota Kediri tahun 2002 atau Hari Jadi Kota Kediri ke-1127 itu baru diadakan larung sesaji di Kota Kediri. Sedangkan larung sesaji yang di Gunung Kelut itu sudah sejak zaman dahulu kala. Jadi sejak peristiwa tentang Lembu Suro dan Dewi Sekartaji dan Dewi Kili Suci. Pertanyaan saya, Anda tadi menyinggung tentang Dewi Kili Suci dan Sekartaji, saya pengen tahu, coba jelaskan antara keduanya. Siapakah Dewi Kili Suci dan siapakah Dewi Sekartaji? Silakan.
Okay, so in my essay, I actually only write the Dewi Kili Suci, and I don't write about Dewi Sekartaji. So I don't really understand about the Dewi Sekartaji, but the Dewi Kili Suci is an Asian princess. So there is two stories. The one story that I read is that Dewi Kili Suci is the son of the Manjali Malik or Jenggolo Malik, and she was Jenggolo Malik. And the first story said that Dewi Kili Suci is the daughter of the Jenggolo Malik. But the second story also states that Dewi Kili Suci is the princess or the daughter of the Airlangga king or from the Kahuripan kingdom. And then, but the story that I read is also stated that the Dewi Kili Suci was proposed by the Lembu Suro prince, and also, but since she doesn't want to get married at that time, so she asked the Lembu Suro prince to build a well, and then at that time, since Lembu Suro fell in love with the Dewi Kili Suci, he also he made the well and then but the Dewi Kili Suci betrayed him, and then he got angry, and then he made a promise or an oath to destroy the kingdom. And that's what I read about the Dewi Kili Suci, and that she was portrayed as a beautiful princess, and then she was supposed to be the prince or to be the ruler of the next Kediri kingdom, and that's it. Before Kediri separated into two kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soraya. All right, it's a good presentation and answer. The next one is Anastasia. Anastasia, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, all right. So you can start your presentation now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tasha, and today I will deliver a presentation based on an essay I wrote called Kadiri's Act to Preserve and Embrace Culture in the Modern Era. And I want you to keep in mind that this essay is written by a person who lives outside East Java, so I'm really sorry if some details are missing. First of all, Indonesia is a nation state that has the richness and diversity of the archipelago's culture, which is a special attraction in the eyes of the world. But unfortunately, cultural diversity has begun to fade among the people due to the influx of foreign cultural influences from the West and Asia. Even so, many cities in Indonesia still maintain their culture, one of which is the city of Kediri. Being the site of the ancient capital Javanese kingdoms, the city holds a lot of history behind it, making it one of the major cultural centers for Javanese people. The city of Kediri has a lot of historical heritage, tourism potential, culture, and traditions that are interesting to tell. One of the cultures that still exists and is preserved until now is the art of Jaranan. Although it comes from Kediri, this art is also famous in several cities in East Java, such as Ponorogo, Tulungagung, Nganjuk, and Banyuwangi. There are many versions of Jaranan history, but the most popular one is about the marriage of Dewi Sanggalangit with Klana Sewandana. Dewi Sanggalangit is the princess of Panjalu Kingdom and is said to have a very beautiful face. The beauty of Dewi Sanggalangit made her famous among young men, and a lot of them wanted to propose to her. Long story short, Klana Sewandana from Lengker was finally chosen to be Dewi Sanggalangit's husband. At the time, they had a wedding parade that accompanied them from the kingdom of Panjalu to Lengker. To commemorate the marriage, the art of Jaranan was created. The most unique moment of Jaranan is when the dancers are in a trance and then they dance unconsciously. What's more mesmerizing is when they do extreme things, such as eating glass, flowers, and other things. Apart from being a means of entertainment, Jaranan art is also used as a tool by the local community to communicate. A person called Gambu is in charge of summoning spirits to enter the dancers. To this day, Jaranan performances are still held at one of the cultural sites in Kediri, which is Hello Mangleng. As time goes by, the Jaranan group grows more and is developed more attractively with different characteristics from each art studio or what we know as Sanggar, without losing its originality. Even though this tradition sounds very extreme, Jaranan has become part of the Kediri community, even claimed to be an icon of the city. Moving from the artistic culture, now we will discuss a tradition that is more inclined to the spiritual aspect called Larung Sesaji, which is an annual ritual held around Mount Kelut on the 1st of Suro, which is carried by the people of Sugih Waras village. The ritual itself is done by villagers as a form of gratitude for the abundant resources. In this tradition, people usually provide various kinds of offerings or sesaji, ranging from fruits, vegetables, to intung chicken. The offerings that have been prepared by the villagers will be paraded around the crater of Mount Kelut. Even though the name Larung means to be washed away, but the offerings are not washed away into the crater of Mount Kelut. Instead, the offerings are collected a few kilometers from the crater of Mount Kelut. After that, the people will do prayer together, led by leaders of Mount Kelut, and the prayer is done to ask blessings from God. After that, the offerings are going to be taken by people who participate in the ritual, and it's believed that taking them is believed to bring blessings to those who took it. Larung Sesaji has gradually been proven to attract tourists. The number of tourists who come to Mount Kelut area shows a fairly high increase every time the Larung Sesaji tradition is held. The government of Kediri realizes the tourism potential from implementation of this tradition. Therefore, the full support is given by the government for the Larung Sesaji tradition, starting from the publication of events to enlivening the implementation. Although these two traditions are the two most prominent traditions, there are still many traditions which are no less interesting. But from these two traditions, we can see that the people of Kediri are very serious about preserving their culture. And to prevent the loss of culture, the government formed a regional cultural mines, or what we know as Pokok Pikiran Kebudayaan Daerah, which is an inventory data of Kediri culture. In addition, the government of Kediri also often conducts cultural shows and festivals that can be watched by the public as well as tourists. The shows are also broadcasted live on social media to reach wider amount of audience. Because of their great efforts, Kediri has received several awards, and the most recent one being the 2019 Cultural Awards and Maestro of Traditional Arts. And as said by Ki Hajar Dewantara, culture is the result of human struggle against two strong influences, namely time and nature. It is proof of the triumph of human life to overcome various obstacles and difficulties in order to achieve salvation and happiness, which means that it should not be forgotten since it is the root of our country. By letting our culture disappear, it's the same as letting the roots of our country disappear. Therefore, we must follow Kediri's people enthusiasm in preserving cultures so that it is not only the Kediri's culture that will survive, but the traditional culture of all provinces in Indonesia will. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention.
All right, thank you very much, Anastasia. So after this, we will get two questions. The first question is from Pak Imam Mubarak. Pak Imam, time is yours.
Oke, selamat sore Anastasia.
Sore Pak.
Sore, dari Sentul City, Bogor. Ya. Pertanyaan saya adalah, kenapa Anda menyebut Jaranan sebagai tradisi yang sakral dalam upacara yang berhubungan dengan roh-roh luhur kerajaan? Seberapa Anda yakin bahwa selain nilai mistis ada nilai historis? Bisakah Anda jelaskan dari mana cerita yang sebenarnya tentang seni Jaranan? Terima kasih.
So from what I know is that Jaranan came from the commemoration of the wedding of Kana Sawandana, And at first it was like only for remembering their wedding, but like as time goes by, people are starting to use the commemoration for sacred rituals. And but as time goes by, because like the kingdoms are not existing anymore right now, so it's going to be only spectacles in some events like weddings and funerals. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Anastasia. So the next question is from Puriviera, Miss Puriviera.
Hi, Anastasia. I like that you mentioned a couple of Kediri's traditions and the historical background behind them as well. I learned a lot from your writing. What would you say to the young generation, to the people your age who have poor comprehension of cultural tradition? And what do you do personally as a student or as an individual to preserve your traditions?
Okay, so thank you, Miss, for the question. Personally, I believe that most teenagers right now um, are voicing about the importance of preserving cultures, even though like maybe some of them are like affected by the westernization that is happening right now. But I do believe that some schools or maybe like some institutions have the policy that maybe like my own school, they have a policy to wear batik every Friday to appreciate our culture. And me myself, I do actually I have like to be honest, I have like an identity crisis. Like my mom is Javanese and my dad is Bataknese, but like I've never learned about the culture because like both of them never teach me. So personally, the only way I actually preserve my culture is to only maybe following the policies from my school and then learning more about the cultures. Like this is me joining this competition is actually for me to learn about the culture, and then I wish that I could participate in preserving the Kadiri's culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anastasia. Wonderful answer. All right, the last but not the least. Okay, Regilia, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Are you ready to present? Yeah. Okay, so you can present your writing. Start now.
Okay, thank you for moderator. Now I'd like to present my essay about Venus River ritual traditions in the middle of modernization era. Today, the young generation has fully comprehension of cultural traditions, and it triggers into degradations of Javanese cultures, value in the middle of modernization era. As we know, Kediri is a city full of heritage and history, and the local legacy still exists until now is Labu Bumi ritual traditions. Its ritual traditions means to give offerings to God for gratitude, and the ritual is usually performed in a blessing place and it conducted in Brandas River yearly. The Brandas River is considered a silent witness to the heyday of the Kediri Kingdom. As we know that Kediri is a agrarian and maritime kingdom, and the Brandas was formerly used as a trade transportation. The historical aspect was brought by the Kediri people who then manifested in the Labu Bumi ritual. And Labu Bumi is a unique ritual that gives countless meanings. By making offerings, it's hoped that all the problems and disaster would be lost by the currents of the Brandas rivers. There is an educational value from generation to generation through these ritual traditions, and the event always attracts a lot of visitors. So it's increasing regional income of Kediri cities by the tourism sector. A part of Labu Bumi, there's another ritual traditions in the Brandas River implicated by the myth of marriage prohibitions who come from west and east river. Actually, in the Brandas rivers, it's by the love story of Dewi Kartaji and Raden Panjas Morobangun, was not approved because they were spared by two conflict kingdoms and in east and west Brantas River areas, namely Panjalu and Janggala. Some people believe that when this merit is still enforced, then some calamities would affect the family, but it can be resolved by special ritual traditions, such as slaughtering a salmon chicken and throwing it into the river when the bridegroom crosses the bridge. When it's viewed from modernity perspective, this tradition has been abandoned because some people is increasingly modern and more advanced. And moreover, nowadays, Brantas River has several connecting bridges, which is a long time ago there were no bridges. From all that I was explained, we can draw the red lines that ritual tradition is one form of cultural expression, contains many values that can be embedded and continued by the future generations. There are some values throughout the traditions. One of them is a local wisdom. Local wisdom is a potential social capital to surmount the conflict. This means that local wisdom not only used as a guide, but also to create peace and social harmony. Thank you. That's all from me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Regilia, for your concise presentation. Okay, the first question is from Pak Imam Mubarak. Bapak Imam, can you share?
Oke. Nggak lengkap, Regilia, sudah. Ya. Pertanyaannya adalah anak Kota Kediri ini ya, dari Kota Kediri.
Iya.
Ya, saya sangat setuju dengan pendapat Anda yang menyatakan bahwa kearifan lokal tidak hanya dijadikan sebagai pedoman dalam interaksi sosial, tetapi juga menciptakan kedamaian dan keharmonisan sosial. Jadi, quote Anda yang terakhir tadi, itu saya garis bawahi bahwa itu adalah suatu hal yang penting. Saya ingin bertanya, bisa dijelaskan degradasi nilai budaya Jawa ya di era modernisasi dan sejarah labuh bumi di Kota Kediri?
Okay,
Silakan.
thank you, sir. There's so many values behind the ritual traditions, such as religious values, and it from these traditions, we just pray to God for gratitude and something like keep the disasters away from the town. Like we pray to God for that's why we have some peaceful soul, and then we have some peaceful soul and mentality stable from this religious value. And another values is our kinship values. We could give to each other, and maybe help another people's like give, like in Labu Bumi ritual. According to Labu Bumi ritual, this means that the commit and the provide the foods and traditional foods and fruits for visitors. And yep.
Yeah, Regilia, thank you very much. The second question is from Parastu. Over to you.
Thank you, Mbak Nanda. I was about to ask the same question as Pak Mubarak, because in your essay you show a fact. It seems to be the fact that people, especially young generation nowadays, neglect the history or the cultures of our ancestors, especially in Kediri city. But now I changed my question. Okay, I changed my question because I found something interesting there. in your last paragraph, before you mentioned the local wisdom. For me, local wisdom is just too general because every culture or tradition in particular place must have values, must have different meanings. So in Kediri itself, it also has a particular meaning for people and values that people can embrace for their lives. Before that, you mentioned Handaya Putra, 2007. This is a study from Handaya Putra. The values of local wisdom itself include religious values, kinship values. Then I'm trying to connect these values to the examples of activities in the ritual tradition that people do, like slaughtering the tamale chicken, and then offerings will be floated on the Bantas River, cowheads, ducks, and much more. Then I didn't find any detailed information about what kind of values itself, religious values, kinds of values. Can you please tell me further description or information about those values? I don't quite, get the details about that.
Okay, thank you. Actually, in slaughtering Tamale chicken, I think it's symbolic values and it's a kind of concept values because actually not all the Kediri citizens do this ritual with slaughtering Tamale chickens, but maybe there are some Kediri citizens just put the chickens in the fridge. So another people would be take the chickens like giving to each other. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Regilia. Well, for all the finalists, we come to the end of this agenda. Thank you very much for all the finalists. You have tried your best. And for the result, it will be announced in English Massive Instagram account, so you can check it later on, okay? Baik, karena seluruh finalis telah tampil, selanjutnya mungkin dari para Dewan Juri, Pak Restu atau Pak Imam Mubarak, ada pesan singkat yang ingin disampaikan kepada seluruh finalis. Kami persilahkan. Oke, mungkin dari Pak Imam Mubarak ada pesan singkat untuk seluruh para finalis.
Ya, terima kasih. Saya sudah membaca hampir keseluruhan dari 10 peserta bahwa pemahaman sejarah itu adalah sesuatu hal yang penting. Jangan menyepelekan sejarah. Ketika Anda menulis sejarah yang salah, maka ini terus memberikan dosa turunan kepada generasi-generasi berikutnya. Sejarah itu tidak bisa hanya Anda membaca, tidak hanya melakukan, Anda harus riset, tidak hanya satu saja patokan yang Anda gunakan. Misalnya Anda menggunakan kitab negara Kertagama, Anda juga harus menggunakan serat Baba Jawi, harus menggunakan serat Pararaton, atau dalam Kediri ada mungkin Kakawin Hariwangsa, atau yang lain-lain sebagainya. Itu baru kemudian kita bisa menentukan rujukan. Jangan asal comot kemudian ambil di internet, kemudian Anda menulis, kemudian Anda menjelaskan kepada orang lain, dosa besar yang berkelanjutan yang akan Anda buat sendiri untuk selanjutnya. Ya, ini cukup diperhatikan banget. Jangan hanya pandai berbahasa. Ya, barang siapa mengenal bahasa suatu kaum, maka dia akan terlepas dari tipu daya kaum itu. Catat, Anda memiliki kemampuan berbahasa Inggris, Anda akan terlepas dari tipu daya kaum yang menggunakan bahasa yang Anda kuasai. Jadi ingat bahwa sejarah adalah suatu hal yang penting yang tidak bisa disepelekan, bahwa Kediri memiliki ciri khas yang luar biasa. Anda harus tahu antara wilayah kota dan Kabupaten Kediri. Kota berada 3 kecamatan, sementara Kabupaten Kediri ada 26 kecamatan. Kota Kediri adalah kota yang bersejarah secara administratif, baru dipisah tahun 48. Kota Kediri menggunakan prasasti Kuak di tahun 27 Juli 879, sementara prasasti di Kabupaten Kediri menggunakan prasasti Harinjing 25 Maret tahun 801. Jadi ingat, sekali lagi saya pesan kepada Anda, generasi muda, generasi emas, harus benar-benar memahami konteks sejarah dalam konteks yang sebenarnya. Jangan sampai memberikan informasi salah. Ketika Anda salah satu saja, Anda akan memberikan dosa yang berkelanjutan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Imam Mubarok. Oke, mungkin dari Pak Restu ada yang ingin disampaikan?
Yeah. Thank you, Mbak. If Pak Mubarok shares the importance of evidence or facts about history, and it is true, because if we share information which is not based on the evidence, so it will be dangerous for people. Someone says that knowledge is not based on evidence will be harmful for everyone else. Okay, but for me, I would like to highlight language itself, or writing, academic writing. What you have done so far was actually academic writing, and I really appreciate, because academic writing is also not easy, but you can do it through your essay. Academic writing means you do not only write everything you have in mind, but you also have to research, as Pak Mubarok said before. And it is also important to understand how to express your thoughts and opinions in a written form, because writing and speaking are different things. Yeah, writing and speaking are different things. There's also, it seems to me that there's also a tendency that people, when writing academically, they tend to change the form of spoken form, spoken one, to written form. And of course, it is completely different. Maybe I can give you an example. Yeah, one sentence. We can't go there. This is spoken form. Yeah, we can't go there because we know that is dangerous. This is spoken form. But if we would like to change it into written form, so we have to completely change the word choice. Yeah, like everyone is prohibited to go there because the place is considered dangerous. Now, what makes those sentences different is that there is a tendency on generalization, because we are writing academic thing. Of course, we need to be careful in writing. So there's no generalization there. There's no conclusion from our own opinion, because there must be some other perspectives we need to consider. Okay, therefore, it is important to focus on the object as well, because we are talking about an object that we describe. And then writing is also complex, because we have to consider the lexical density. It's different from speaking. We just choose any words that we say, but in writing, we need to be careful in choosing the words themselves. Last but not least, coherence and cohesion. I think this is also one of the most important in writing, because it will make the reader understand really well your writing. Remember, writing is not just putting our minds, our thoughts into words, okay? But we are presenting something. We are delivering information to other people in order that they will believe in what we have delivered. So this is the message. The message of written essay to other people, because we're writing, because we are presenting that something is the truth based on our research, like Pak Mubarok said before. Okay, I think that's it from me. Thank you, Mbak Nanda.
All right, thank you very much for our amazing judges. Mungkin apabila ada feedback khusus untuk peserta mengenai isi dari tulisan masing-masing peserta, bisa disampaikan atau ditulis di file teks masing-masing peserta, seperti itu. And also thank you very much for all the finalists. All right, because time is running out, and we can end our agenda today by praying together. Pray based on individual beliefs. Begin. All right, thank you. So before we end our session today, let's take a picture together. Please turn on your camera. Okay. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright, thank you very much. Jangan lupa untuk pengumuman hasil dari presentasi kalian ini bisa dilihat langsung di Instagram English Massive. Dan juga English Massive mempunyai web series dan saat ini sedang tayang episode 3. Jangan lupa kalian untuk menonton di YouTube English Massive dan subscribe atau like serta komen. Nah, English Massive juga memiliki giveaway yang syaratnya dapat kalian langsung cek di Instagram English Massive seperti itu. So, thank you very much for all. I am as the moderator today, and the team, we do apologize if there is a mistake. So, thank you very much. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.
Cerita pengalaman saya belajar bahasa Inggris itu berawal dari sebuah cita-cita.
Bagi saya, belajar bahasa Inggris itu awalnya adalah karena rasa penasaran, ingin bisa mengerti.
Aku belajar bahasa Inggris karena cinta.
Tidak ada kemenangan tanpa latihan. Dan tidak ada hari tanpa belajar bahasa Inggris.
So, apa yang bikin kamu pengen belajar bahasa Inggris? Oke, bagus. You're on, buddy.
Sebenarnya saya nggak suka bahasa Inggris. Saya juga nggak begitu suka belajar. Tapi mau itu berubah karena suatu hal.
Ketika kita punya anak, rasanya kita rela memberi apapun untuk bisa lihat mereka tertawa,